Hi, everybody. I'm Rachel Leonard, editorial director of the Bridal Council. We have this series called Meet the Experts, and today I'm so excited to meet with my dear friend, Kate Edmonds, event and wedding planner of Kate Edmonds Events. How are you, Kate?
I'm very well, thank you,
Good.
Rachel.
We're
And it's
having
lovely
tea
to see
today.
you on Zoom.
What?
Lovely to see you on Zoom.
It's so lovely to see you, and to everybody, we're all having a little cup of tea just to celebrate getting together with my friend Kate, who we've known since 100 years ago, a long time ago from the Hamptons. That's where we met.
2 minutes.
What?
I think I met you through the other side of Brides magazine. The not the editorial, the what do you call it?
The promotion side.
Yes, because I used to do a lot of parties and styling and things like that for that side. And then I met you, and I think we ended up being in a share house.
I think we did, and it was so much fun and so beautiful out there. Oh my goodness, that was such a great time. Kate,
And
how did you become, for those who might not know who you are, how did you become a wedding planner? Briefly, you could tell me a synopsis.
Okay, well, um, my actual education is my college degree is in nursing, and I'm an RN. How,
Okay.
I'm also, until I was about 18, I was an only child, and when you're an only child, you want friends. So from a very early age, I learned to be sociable, and people like to come over, have drinks, have cupcakes, play. And that's kind of where I learned that this is a great way to network, to get friends, to have fun. Um, Flash forward, the first event I ever remember planning properly was at my 8th birthday party.
Oh my
So
goodness.
8 friends, a round table, 8 pretty different colored napkins, 8 cupcakes, the whole deal. 8 candles.
Haven't changed. It's the same.
It's the same format. And
It's the
then,
same.
yeah, and then when I was 18, I got together with a girlfriend. And I don't know, my mom didn't even have a car. I grew up with a single mom, and she didn't drive, and she still doesn't drive, and she's still with us, thank God. But we, I booked this space in the next village or next town, and I rented a bar and bartenders. I had it catered. I did balloons and flowers. I made my own cake and what they called glacé icing. So formal British cake icing, piping, and everything, which I learned at school. And I did this with Debbie. And then her dad was the transport. And so that was 18, and we had like 120 people. And then when I was 21, which is a big deal, I was now in nursing, training to be a nurse, and had been doing a lot of parties for the doctors and nurses because we were party animals, really, because we needed that, as a counterpoint to all the gruesome stuff you do in the
Right.
hospital.
Sure.
And it was a natural for me. I loved it. And at 21, I took over a small nightclub.
Oh my
I
goodness.
just remember all my birthday cards being on the, like, hanging from a string on the bar, and all the great tunes that were playing that night. I remember them so clearly. And then a year or so later, I went to do an open heart surgery course in Sydney, Australia. And that was interesting because my family were very social.
Mhm.
Parties around the pool, ladies at
Mhm.
lunch. And it was just a layering on of learning. My mother and family's side of hobbies, like they don't smoke, they don't drink, they're not that social. But their thing is Sunday afternoon, you get in a car and you go to a stately home,
Oh,
and you
wonderful.
go around the stately home. So over time, I became extremely comfortable with, um, you know, the museum, the grandeur, the art, the everything, and it just was felt so natural. And so then went nursing, and I came to America as sort of a gap year on the way back from these courses, and I was going back to England to be a doctor apparently, and it was the 80s, and New York was so exciting. I met a young man, David Wallace, on a train. We
Wow.
created a moving nightclub, and we became promoters.
Okay.
And then next we created Wallace and Edmonds, and we started doing off-premise catering and parties.
And I think that's when I met you, about then,
Probably we stopped
or a
working
little
together
bit later.
in 1993.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go in another direction. So what are you working? Okay, we've been through a horrible year. I know there's been lots of postponements, but how are things now for you? What's going on?
Okay. So we've been very lucky. I know lucky. When this all came up, I was in Florida researching venues for the following year's weddings because I was getting quite a lot of interest in Miami and Palm Beach weddings. So
Right.
I was down there with an assistant, and I also was supposed to be writing a little booklet. And my husband was coming to join us for a little vacation at the weekend. And it started to unfold there. And we actually traveled down in masks. And it was March 1st.
Wow. Right.
Uh, my my Chinese doctor had suggested it. So we went down in masks, and it was clear after the week was ending that there was something insane going on. And so instead of leaving, we took a hotel room and extended, and then we sort of watched it, and then we ended up sort of Miami closed down, and we moved to Fort Lauderdale, and we rented an Airbnb, and we stayed there for 3 months.
Unbelievable. And so the party season stopped. Tell us about your customers and,
Oh, it
and
stopped.
what new has transpired from all that.
Okay, so it stopped completely, but not for me because I had such a book of business, and everybody needed help and moving and guessing and re-envisaging. So that was very busy. And at the same time, I think there was a lot of optimism that this was like a 3-month thing. So I booked parties for 2021, 2022 then. And I kept all my staff on. I lost one girl, she went back to Australia. One girl left, went back to the Midwest. And I kind of kept my staff part-time. They went on unemployment, but they were with me part-time. We Zoomed every day, we worked every day, and we kept really optimistic. And we just decided that this was the time to market in a serious way, because normally it was word of mouth, a little bit of not, that you guys, all that kind of thing. And we just decided that we would really focus on our websites and some social media and just really see what we could do better with the time.
Great.
Uh,
I mean, it seems like it was a very productive time, a sad time, but a productive time. But you took on a new direction with your business during that time, right?
yeah, that came later when I got back to New York. We drove back, and on the way, I went to like 3 or 4 fabulous potential wedding venues in Charleston and South Carolina, and we went to Maryland Eastern Shore and scoping out these event spaces. And also, I figured as a nurse that the high end, really amazing hotels, they had the UV filters and they were spotless, and they didn't have guests in a room between 72 hours. So my husband and I felt confident that we were in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
And then we came back to New York, and I mean, you were here, so or you weren't here actually, but you could be on a bicycle and look at Park Avenue in June, and there was not a soul. It was so surprising. And then things started to slowly reemerge. It was a little bit difficult right up until the election, but about probably late last summer, several chefs started to approach me, and we would have a drink on the roof where it's safe. And they'd been laid off, or the companies had closed, or people had taken early retirement, or they just wanted to pivot themselves. And after these people kept coming to suggest that we should group together, eventually I found what one of the people seemed like a really great fit. And so we had meetings, and then, consulting with some people. And then we did create a catering company called Occasional Catering Company.
That's cool.
And we had our first event in April.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And it's just an arm of Kate Edmonds Events. That's why it's Occasional Catering Company. We hope to build it to sort of a couple of events a month.
Excellent. So you've already started to have new events slowly, or you're just planning?
Yes. Well, all through we had some events. So when I got back, I mean, obviously not till June or after June.
Right.
The occasional birthday party in a tent. We went through that phase where we were boxing all the food.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all clean and boxed and separately presented and outdoors. And I think it had to be under like 30 people, and it had to be, 3 sides of the tent up and all that. No dancing. And then it just, protocols kept changing.
Right.
I always err on the side of caution. I think that's my sciencey background. I'd rather, if they say 150, I'm thinking 100.
Mm-hmm.
If they say, I mean, we are doing weddings in a minute that we are testing everybody still, rapid PCRs. Even we're taking vaccinated, we're taking tests, we even though they're opening up.
Right.
So
do couples want anything different now that we've lived through the COVID? Is there different wants, different meanings? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. One thing I noticed massively, and for better or worse, I think kind of worse, but was that everybody I spoke to for nearly a year wanted a friend to marry them.
Right.
So that was weird because, to have a great speaker and a great officiant is some of the drama.
Right. You're so right.
We'll see how it goes, because I've got like 3 or 4 of them coming up.
And they're all their friends marrying them versus
a friend, a godfather, a brother, It's very weird. That's a weird trend. I mean, a new trend. Second thing is my weddings were growing. I would say that it was becoming more normal for me to be asked to plan a 250, 350 person wedding.
Right.
Which, Manhattan really, it's a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
So unless we do it like we do in the South, but it's fallen again, I think, to more like I'm getting calls all the time now for 100 to 150.
Great.
So it's,
growing. People are feeling a little bit more confident, but they're also, it's going to be months ahead, right? Or next year, or is it?
Yes. So they're calling for next September, next October.
Okay. Well, hopefully we're in a better place, even a better place.
Exactly. In planning, Rachel, we get the weddings that come in 3 months out, maybe once or twice a year max. Or they've tried to do it themselves and they can't, and then they need professional help.
Right.
Then there's the weddings that are larger, and the family try and allow a year and a half, which is a heck of a long time. Right. It's really too long. You really don't need any more than a year to plan a wedding, even if it's 1,000 people.
Kate, so lovely to see you. And I want to say goodbye to everybody and thank you for joining us today.
Good.
Thank you, Kate.